I'm Samuel James, and I'm a photographer. This channel is Run to Windsor, and I was recently gifted this book, Joel Meyerowitz, Where I Find Myself. And there was a photo within that book, amongst many other photos, that I was lost in. And being lost in that photo, I was then inspired to break down what I actually liked about it. Because for myself, I was working out why am I so drawn to this? And there's a lot happening within this photo. And the irony is I'm a black and white shooter predominantly, as I've spoken about in the past, but this is a color photo. So I think it's good that I break down a color photo, why it jumps out to me. But even if this was black and white, I think this photo is an exceptional photo. But as I said, the color, it's a masterpiece. So anyway, I'd say when Joel was taking this photo, I have never heard him talk about this photo at all. I've hardly heard him talk about anything really. But I imagine when he was walking down the street, this is the 60s or 70s. It does say in the book next to the photo what year it is, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I imagine walking through Paris back then would have been a novel experience. But then you have this gentleman walking down the street playing the harmonica. I'd say this guy is the center focus of the frame. There's a lot going on. He's got a bottle in his jacket pocket. He's wearing a scarf. He's playing a harmonica. He's got a ciggy, and he's got his hat off the side, and he's walking like a penguin. He's got a fair bit going on, and he's dressed pretty well. At the time, he would have been making some music as well, playing harmonica, making a bit of a scene. So that would have been something. If I had just shot this gentleman walking down the street alone, there was nothing else happening in the frame, I would have been like, said and done, that's the best photo I've taken this year. Maybe of my life, who knows? But then you have, what's beautiful about the subject here is he's framed in. So you've got this wall framing him in. And then you have this gentleman off the side who's looking at him, framing him in as well. So he's over here and his gaze is off to him and he's framing him in. This gentleman in the green, his eyes are upon this gentleman as well. And he was also drawing your attention in. So just their eyes alone draws your attention towards this man, the subject, Mr. Harmonica. And then again, like I said, he's framed in by this wall from this gentleman here that he's making. And then the red wall along here frames him in, draws your attention with that lead line. Then you have this sausage dog here that's got its gaze on something else. It's looking over at the chihuahua here. So there's two dogs in the frame. That alone, if that was happening and you highlighted that a little bit more, that could be a photo just itself. And then in this chihuahua going from here, you have the woman walking the pram. She's basically the only woman in this frame. There might be others further back off in the distance that you can't see, but she's the only woman in this frame. She's wearing yellow, so she's highlighted and standing out. So her yellow coat also is in harmony with this yellow sign. So that's a bit of balance between the two within the frame as well. You have the two yellow subjects here balancing out the frame in different corners of the frame. Again, also framing within to the subject of the man playing harmonica. And then you have the red. So you have the red bollard or the red wall here, and then you have the red signage up the top, the red stop sign, and also just happen to have a red Volkswagen come off the side in traffic here. If you had those four red items line up in a frame alone, a color photographer of this era would be like, that's their wet dream. It's perfect. It doesn't get any better than that for them. That would be their photo of the year or photo of their life. But then there's also this gentleman who's walking directly behind the man playing harmonica. Looks like he's going to overtake him as well, like he wants to get past. But his gaze is looks like it's off onto this gentleman. So what's this gentleman's story over here? Who knows? We'll never know. There also seems to be a hidden person here, which his gaze may be upon as well. There's an elbow there. I mean, not that the elbow is a highlight of the frame, but there's so much happening within this photo. Like, you could break down all these things I highlighted and have them as just single subjects, and that would make a great photo. But then it all comes together in one. And this is at a time where there's no internet, there's no social trends going viral on, Instagram or whatever medium that, we consume most of our art from, I guess. And this is also in a time where color photography wasn't really the main medium. It was predominantly black and white. So he was going against the curve here, and then having color street photography, and just these colors alone are just beautiful. And then you have also this green foliage of the trees up the back here, which offsets the yellow, the green, and the red. And then these little blue highlights from the man's jacket, this sign, and then little blue bits in the background. It just, the more you look, the more you find. It is absolute perfection. So, yeah, I'm amazed at how that photo come about, really. Looking at it, 50 years later, it's still a masterpiece. So, yeah, I felt compelled to do a little breakdown of what I liked about that and what you might like about it. And that segment is going to be called, I'm going to do this more often, and this segment's going to be called Check Out This Photo. So check out that photo by Joel Meyerowitz, and it's spoken by me, Samuel James. Yeah, this was a trial run, but I'm going to do more of them. Whether you like it or not, they'll be up there, and it will just be in conjunction with the episodes that I've been releasing each week. So this will just be a little bit on top. Anyway, like and subscribe. Godspeed.